Happy Tuesday. Today is November 27th, 2018. And this evening, we will be starting in about 3 minutes and we will be discussing how to get $10,000 in business credit cards without a personal guarantee or a personal credit check. Very excited. Please, by all means, take some notes and we'll get started shortly. We will be getting started. So, tonight we will be talking about how to get $10,000 in business credit cards without a personal guarantee or personal credit check. So, this series is all about how to get funding for your for profit or your nonprofit organization. Oftentimes, when we're looking to grow our business, we're trying to find ways for us to be able to do it without us, of course, using our personal credit, and furthermore, without ruining our personal credit in the process. So this evening, just like previous calls, we discuss ways to do that and how to become qualified. Furthermore, we also found some other things and other ways to kind of get around using your personal credit, which is true business credit. A little bit about us. Our company is First Class Funding. Our website is firstclassfunding.net. What we do is we help you qualify for alternative lending sources. And so, what that means is our goal is to help you not have to use your personal credit, not have to ruin your personal credit, and try to get credit that's specifically in your business name. So by doing that, that will open so many more doors for you because we already discussed in previous calls that when you're using your personal credit, the limits on the cards or accounts aren't as high as they are when you're on the business credit side. So we'll start a little bit talking about what exactly is business credit. So we're all familiar with consumer credit, which is our personal credit side, and that's credit that's linked to our social security number. But business credit is different in that it's strictly for business owners in their business name. And so what's great about business credit, if it's done correctly, it will never connect to your personal side. Some great benefits is that one, it gives you the opportunity to have credit that's in your EIN only. And so what that means to you is for a business owner who is looking to get themselves up and running, most of the times you're looking for options that will allow for you to be able to do it without you running your personal credit. It's also way easier to build your business credit than it is for your personal credit. Reason being is that with the business credit side, they're looking on payments only. It's not very often that they're looking on how much your line of credit or your credit card limit may be. They're not really looking at some of the things that on a personal side is normally looked at a little bit more in detail. For us on the business credit side is great because usually you can get really good business credit in about 90 days if you do it correctly. So here, just give you some example. Getting approved for vendor credit right away is very easy. You may not have the highest of limits unless you already have some business credit established, but at least you'll be able to begin that process. And more importantly, cash credit can be as soon as 6 months if, again, you do everything that you're supposed to do correctly. And so, with that being said, let's move on to how it's not connected. Personal credit and business credit is totally separate, allowing you to be at your best levels. An example I always give is if you have $10,000 on a personal credit side, on a business credit side, you may can get between 3 and 5 times more. And so I want to share a quick story about myself and how I was able to build business credit. Me personally, when I first started out, I ruined. I ran all my credit cards up. I did a lot of really bad things just to be able to get my doors open. And so by doing that, unfortunately, it didn't allow for me to kind of um, go into a position of strength. And so what I mean by that is when I started this process, because I used my personal credit instead of focusing on business credit. When I was running up my credit cards to pay bills on my business side, to do marketing, and to do whatever I needed, that was ruining my personal credit. My scores went down. And so when I started to study what true business credit was, I realized that all this time I wasn't that far away, from being able to have credit that was specifically in my business name only, and not having to worry about it being on my personal side at all. I just was uninformed, just like many other business owners out there. We only know of personal credit, and when they tell you it's business credit, it's normally because it is in your business name, like your business name will be on the card. But the other side to it is that it will also be attached to your personal credit. One quick second here. Excuse me. And so, with that being said, we'll move on. And so, understanding how business credit can benefit you is a way for people to kind of begin the process. Oftentimes, we are not even thinking about, doing it the right way. And so, again, it always takes some help to be able to get there. Okay, having some technical difficulties. Get back in here. All right. All right. So, of course, um, having business credit, there's many benefits. Usually, your limits are oftentimes, of course, like I said earlier, way higher than it would be if you had your personal credit, right? Which means for you that you'll have access to capital quicker. Now, I do want to make mention that while I'm stating that it's best to not use your personal credit, the other side to it is if you have good personal credit, it would lean more for you to be able to have double the buying power or double the credit power. So while I'm encouraging you all to learn this process, I'm not discouraging you all from properly having your credit fixed so that on the personal side, you're able to do a lot more, okay? So please do not misconstrue what I'm saying. Personal credit has its own benefits as well. So you can also have sometimes the same credit that's with your personal accounts with your business accounts. Sometimes for instance, Walmart, if you have a personal Walmart credit card, you can do the same for business. Not all the time, but some of the accounts that you normally are using every day, they do have a business credit side. But be careful, because if you don't know, sometimes they do require personally guaranteeing, which is when you are using your social security number. And more importantly, with business credit, you don't need to have collateral, cash flow, or any kind of financials to get business credit. Most accounts, you can place an order for what you want and get what you need right away and easily be able to obtain that business credit with no issue. So, more benefits. All lenders look at your business credit to determine your approval rates. And more importantly, your clients and prospects can look at you too. And so it's easy for them to literally go do a search for you on any of the business credit sites and find out the financials of your company. And so for that reason is why it's important for you to build business credit, because then they can see how your company's integrity is when it comes to having business credit. Excuse my lovely dog in the background licking his water. And so with that being said, it makes you look good when you have a good credit report. And competitors, of course, can look you up as well. What's more important is that most successful businesses have business credit. And so in order for you to be able to build it without a personal guarantee, it will allow for you to not have to take on business debt. So when you don't possibly do your best in business, which is not why we go into business, but it happens, it will allow for you to easily be able to get business credit and not have to worry about how it's affecting you on the personal side. Okay? And I'm not going to get into this slide. In order for you to do big things, it's important for you to have business credit. Otherwise, you don't have to be big. A lot of people think that business credit is only for big business, and that's not the case at all. It's actually the exact opposite. Whether you are a small, medium, or large size business, you should have business credit. And so what people think is not actually true. So these here are going to be some myths that people think are the most common scenarios with business credit. So to start, you can't start building a profile just with banks or in stores. That's not exactly how it works. Business credit, one of your first business banking relationships will be with a business bank account that you may have, but at the same time, that's not how you begin building the business credit. The people I speak with when it comes to building business credit, they often skip a few steps. So here's what I would suggest. You're going to get turned down if you go to your local bank to get credit. Same thing for any of the local stores. All of that is common. None of that is uncommon. And so don't ever feel like because you're in business that automatically guarantees you to be able to get business credit. That's not how it works at all. But if you go and have established credit, which is what we encourage you to do, and we'll teach you more in other scenarios, we'll be able to show how building your business credit and getting a good business relationship will allow for you to do some great things. And so let's move on from there. The key is not to apply until you have good credit. So do not go to Staples, Best Buy, any of those other companies with the thought of, oh yeah, I can go ahead and get it in. So this here breaks down why. And so here's the first thing. You need credit to get credit, okay? A lot of times you hear about these secure cards to build credit up, and even on the business side, people try to make it seem like you all should have secure cards. That's not the best way to go. That's money wasted. You could have spent that money someplace else actually building a vendor account that's going to help you build your credit. So to me, that's a common myth where these secure cards on the business side are being used as a financial vehicle to, show as if this is some way that you can build business credit. It's not that you can't, but that same $300 or $500 that you spend, you could have easily used it in what we're going to talk about now is called net 30 terms, and you could have easily did the same thing, and you would have had 30 days to pay it back, and then you could have just paid your account off and show to the world, the banking business world, that you are a responsible business owner and you pay your bills on time. So let's talk a little bit more about vendor accounts. Trade vendors are accounts that typically have 30-day, 60-day, and 90-day terms, which means for you, that means that you have 30, 60, or 90 days for you to be able to pay that back. An example of that kind of company, oftentimes people use what they call a company called Uline. Uline has all kinds of products that's available to business owners to use for various things, toilet paper, cleaning supplies, and the like. And so you will be able to get a business account where initially you don't have to pay up front for your product, and you can use that particular account and be able to easily get business credit strictly in your business name without having to run your personal credit. Now, what's good about that is a lot of people get excited because you only have 30, 60, or 90 days to pay those kind of vendor accounts back. They're called net 30s. But at the same time, it's important that you pay them back at a certain time. And so what I mean by that is, yes, you do have to pay it in full, but if you're going to pay it back, it's all about timing. It's the timing of your payment that makes a difference. So an example is my very first account that I had was with Quill. So Quill is another net 30 account that you can apply for. Again, it's about how you apply and when you pay your payments. With Quill, I think I placed an order for like cereal boxes, something that you would kind of see in an office setting, those little small little mini boxes. So I ordered like 2 or 3 of those and had them sent to my office. And so with that being said, that particular account, I think everything came up to $100. So by me applying for the first time and not having any kind of business credit at all, they were nice enough to offer me $100 as a line of credit. Some may say, that's not a lot of money, but one, they didn't run your credit to do it, and two, it's easy for you to increase those limits, and we'll talk about that more later. And so once you get this account, you place an order. Once you place the order, you then go ahead and pay the order. Now, when I talk about timing and paying the order, you don't want to pay it too soon from the time that you placed your order. So let's say today is the 27th, right? Next month date usually will be, if it's a 30-day vendor account, you have 30 days. So you have until December 27th. Now, the key to all of that is to pay it halfway past the due date. So since you have 30 days, you want to pay it at 15 or more days after your initial order, okay? And the reason for that is most companies, especially Quill in particular, will not report if you pay too soon. So that's great that you're eager to pay your balance, but if you pay too soon, that's not working for you. And so you want to wait at least 15 days and always make sure that the 15-day or greater is after the actual mark for the 30-day. So 15 days is half of 30, and you also have to make sure that it's in the next month. So we're in November. Make sure when you pay is in the month of December. So again, the key is being on time, but if you pay too soon, it's not going to report. So it's all about that timing, which is at the 15th day or greater. So the 15th day says you can still pay early and still get a pretty high credit score within a couple months. And so you do that a couple times and you're able to easily get a 90 payback score. So the next part of that is when it comes to, your ability to continue to build that relationship with that company. And so, yeah, I know we said $100 is not a lot of money, but the reality is later down the line when you want to get higher limits after a few months of you going back and forth with that company, paying on time and building that relationship with them, they'll extend higher amounts of credit to you. So yes, $100 is not a lot at first, but you can always upgrade. Okay. And so the next thing says before you start applying it, you first should set up your business where you can be approved. So the bigger part of all of this is you cannot go and apply for these Net 30 vendor accounts until you actually have an established business. So in our class last week, we talked about the 10 things that you need to do to be a registered business. So all of that has to be consistent. So we talked about the name, address, the phone number, the email, the website, fan page, 401 listing, Secretary of State filing, business license if you need it, all of those things, okay? And so they do review those things. So you may even get denied for the $100 line of credit, even if your information is not correct. And so that's what they're going to use to approve you. And so that's why you have to be careful with what documents you're filing with your Secretary of State and what's in 411, because let's say you went online and applied for something for Quill. It may take them a day or two to get back to you, but you may even have to call in to verify some information. And you could really avoid all of that if you just go and make sure that everything is the same. So name, address, phone number, website, whatever you're using across all your applications, double check your EIN number, all of those things, because if you don't, that could be really the difference between you getting approved and not approved. And so we talked about credibility. That's a part of the credibility thing, okay? That's just to make sure that people are literally doing what's right about business. You know, you can't want to get business credit if you're not even in business yet. So that's another thing. A lot of people, unfortunately, have this thought that they need funding. And while you may need funding, the other side to it is that you have to start making your business work. You know, it's easy to say you need money, but the key is how are you making your business work? So don't just, you know, kind of have this thought in your head like, if I had money, I can make it happen. No, whatever you're trying to do, you should make it happen first, and then you go for getting funding. Okay. So here is just basically saying that make sure when you're filling out these applications, it should reflect that you have a business. So that's just confirming what I stated earlier. The previous slides that I skipped through really are just me breaking down all those things again about the name, the address, and all that. We talked about that before, and I want to keep reiterating that to you all. So if your business is not registered, if your business does not have a business bank account, technically you're not in business right now. So those are the things that I would encourage you to focus on before you start going through this process. Okay, so the start of vendor accounts is what we talked about. And even though this says there's a small percentage of vendors who will actually approve you, you can increase your likelihood by making sure that you have all your information for your business consistent across all platforms before applying. And here are some examples, okay? Here, we said Quill and Uline earlier. Reliable office sources supplies is kind of like Staples. These are subsidiaries of those companies. And see here, it says that you may have to place 2 or 3 orders, but our platform that we have called Fundio, FUNDYO.net, is our website. It actually shows you how to get approved the first time. So this information typically is what happens if you don't know how to apply. But if you do know how to apply, you can skip this step here. So this says all of these will require you to place 2 to 3 orders first before getting a Net 30 credit line. Apply for the credit, get denied, but still buy about $50 worth of things and then try again. Usually by the time you did your 3rd application and your 3rd order, you get approved. Again, if you go through Fundio.net, we kind of show you how to alleviate all of that. Some other companies that are out here monopolize your marketplace, Lachlan and Associates. You buy the service and then they finance it out and give you net 30 days to pay. So you may need a website, you may need some other kind of marketing materials. These sites, there are some other options. So you have your net 30 vendors, then you have some businesses that are willing to extend net 30 accounts to you to finance out their services. And so one thing to understand with this net 30 process is that honestly, there's things on these sites that you may not want. And so even though you don't want them, I encourage you to still kind of take advantage of them. So look at it in a long-term perspective. Don't look at it as if, man, I gotta buy this stuff and I'm going to be stuck with it. No, two things you can do. So you buy the service or product and resell it to somebody else. Of course, if you don't need it, go on eBay, Facebook Marketplace, what have you. There's plenty of sites that you can do that. And then the other side to it is you can also honestly start to focus more on how you can use the stuff in your business. There's plenty of things on those sites that you can actually use in your business. So this may actually help you not spend so much money right out of pocket for certain things, because there's net 30 accounts with, the subsidiaries of Home Depot and the like. So there's plenty of, I always say there's plenty of ways to skin the cats. So look at it that way. You definitely have some other options. And so the key to that net 30 thing is you should have at least 5 net 30s before you start applying for cash cards or store cards. Okay. Revolving store cards could be Best Buy, Amazon, Lowe's, BP, Chevron, and most other stores that you normally come in contact with. I always, again, tell people start small with a couple net vendor accounts and then work your way up. They actually, some of them have some more stringent requirements. So if you haven't been around for more than 2 years, some of them may not let you apply. And so that's why companies like Home Depot and Staples have subsidiaries that will allow for you to have less stringent requirements for you to get approved. Okay. So again, it's okay that you may not have been around a long time. Our program at Fundio teaches you how to do it in 6 months or less, but do understand there's a lot of rules to this game that if you don't understand them, it's going to be really hard for you to be able to be successful. Okay. And then the top level is what people really want. So, we talked a little bit about a $10,000 personal credit card versus a business card that may have 3 to 5 times as much. That's the ultimate thing. And that's normally after you had 5 net 30 accounts and 5 revolvings reporting, you then can begin getting larger high limit cards. Even though this says 10,000, if you did and followed our instructions on how to build your business credit, you probably could get way more than $10,000. We had some people that had success, and another side to that, even though we are talking about not using your personal credit, when you're able to leverage your personal credit and trying to get a major credit card for your business, what's good about that is normally with most accounts after 1 year, they'll remove the personal liability if you've shown that you're responsible with what they actually granted you. So look at that as an alternative. That's a backup. So that allows for you to have double the buying power when you have good credit along with good business credit, personal and business together. And so there's plenty of cards out there. Racetrack has a double card, which is a fleet card and a gas card. Fleet maintenance, gas, and a credit card together. Sam's Club has the club membership and credit card intertwined. Home Depot, same thing. It's a part credit card, part Home Depot credit card. So there's plenty of ways for you to kind of be able to make that happen. Um, do not apply for credit that requires for you to have your social security number. So sometimes, even though we teach you on the Fundio platform to apply for stuff online, at times you can apply for these in person. We just tell you not to put your personal social security number on there. Okay, that way you are not personally guaranteeing. If you accidentally do that, they're going to pull your credit, and that will be the reason why you are granted or denied based on your credit specifically. And furthermore, you will be responsible personally if you add your social security number to these cards. Um, they're always going to ask for your social security number. Just don't give it to them. A lot of times when people are looking to get loans and all that stuff, the first thing they do is ask for your credit card. So I don't encourage you to, put yourself in a situation where if you cannot financially be liable for it or have good enough credit to apply for it, then I just wouldn't encourage you to do that, okay? So be mindful of that. One second. Okay, so um, building business credit is not that significantly different from consumer credit, but helping you build your credit, it would be based mainly on using a vendor account, and more importantly, um, it really can catapult your business. Like the ultimate levels of business credit will come from you having straight up cash cards where you can get cash advances. That's what a cash card is. And then you can get leasing equipment, you can purchase vehicles. It's a great way for you to be able to easily almost like have another life, but through your business. You know, doing this the right way the first time, without a lot of trial and error, really will lead for you to have a lot of success. So I enjoy helping people build business credit. More importantly, seeing them get it and use it responsibly really warms my heart because, you know, there's a wrong way to do it. And that's if you're not genuinely using all this business credit for your business. Like if you're paying your bills off, your personal bills off with it, that's embezzling. I don't know if people know that, but if you're doing something for business, it has to be for business. Otherwise, you'll be caught up and it's just not going to work for you. So be careful with that, guys. You may get it, but use it wisely. So we're having some technical difficulties. Okay. All right. So that's the end of our presentation. Thank you all for listening, and we appreciate your time. Have a good one.